Hi, my name is John and this is Business Focus. In today's video, we'll be talking about the box office performance for the month of September. I was surprised to find out there's a new king in terms of box office receipts. It's not Super Mario Brothers, the movie anymore. I was surprised that Barbie was doing so well, but to be able to top the $1 billion mark is a testament to the uniqueness of the story here and how popular the story here, not just in the United States domestically, but as well as worldwide here. So let's take a look at the box office performance here. So you can see here, according to the numbers.com, number one in terms of worldwide box office is Barbie with gross of close to 1.4 billion dollars in terms of box office performance. And I haven't seen the movie now. Obviously, it's focused on on female. The main titular character is a female character. I haven't watched it. I might watch it eventually, but who knows? But as you can clearly see here, in terms of domestic performance, both domestic and the international box office has a strong performance, earning over 600 to 700 million dollars, and a combine of close to 1.4 billion dollars here is a testament of how powerful the story is, being able to captivate the audience worldwide here. And when it was first launched, I wasn't surprised that it was going to do well competing with Oppenheimer. The fact that both movies are doing this well is a surprise for me. And if you look closely, number two is still Super Mario, and Oppenheimer now is number two. Was able to surpass even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with close to $850 million here. As you can see here, it did much better in terms of international box office of earning $500 million, but not bad also in terms of domestic box office of a little over $300 million as well. Now, what's interesting here is obviously they were competing with the likes of Mission Impossible, which is only number 10, which is only earned a little over $500 million here, which I think was a missed opportunity when they mentioned there's going to be a two-part movie here, which I think was a miscalculation. The part that they had to compete with other films, I think they should have stuck with just one film, because from Mission Impossible 4, 5, and 6 was a standalone film. Obviously, it has one story to tell in one film. Was able to do that. Why couldn't they do that here? I didn't say that the part one here is not that bad, but I think having that uh, climactic, what do you call this? Cliffhanger of sorts. It's anticlimactic, especially unless you're a Harry Potter or maybe Lord of the Rings film that a big storytelling is going to happen in the succeeding films. I don't know about Mission Impossible, which I think have hampered their performance. Now, how much bigger or better would it have done? Maybe similar to how it did with Fallout or even Rogue Nation in previous installments here. But yeah, they chose otherwise, because take a look in last year's Tom Cruise Top Gun Maverick, right? It's a sequel per se, but it would be style. Hopefully, they don't make a sequel out of it again. It did really well. It generated a little over $1 billion of revenue worldwide here, but that's not the case for this particular franchise here. Anyway, so looking at the top 10, as you can see here, Guardians is still number 4, Fast X, Spider-Man Across the Universe, Spider-Verse, sorry. And then you have two Chinese film, and sad to say, I think in my humble opinion, Little Mermaid, which even though earned a little over $500 million, for me, in my opinion, a big IP as this one is considered a flop, because if it's a big IP, a known IP from Disney, should earn at least $1 billion, similar to how Barbie benefited from it. Look at Super Mario Brothers, right? It's one of the more known games characters worldwide, and when they created the right movie, not the 90s film of John Leguizamo, it earned a billion right off the bat. So meaning they miscalculated in trying to play identity politics here, which pissed off a lot of the core fans here and trying to change the narrative. See what's happening now with the possibility of rebooting or updating. That's what they're saying of Snow White here, with the main character being in hot controversy of her point of view, and trashing the original storytelling of what people used to know of that story here. But that's beside the case here. Now, apart from the Little Mermaid, if we scroll down further, one of the sad, disappointing performances is, if you look closely at Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, which didn't even earn close to $500 million here. So as you can see here, both domestically and internationally didn't even reach the 200 million mark, which earned a little over $370 million, which is slightly slightly over their production budget, which tells you that the cost of actually producing the film and marketing it double that amount. They need to be able to break even. They need to reach at least a little over half a billion, close to 600 million. So I mean they're losing money, even though it's a very successful IP, which is, Indiana Jones, which is kind of disappointing here. I think they should reboot it and recast the titular character and start a new storyline if they wanted to do that, and not keep on reusing Harrison Ford here, which, it just destroys the first trilogy that they made, from the Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the Last Crusade. I think they should have stuck with it, stop with that first three, and then leave it as is. Anyway, going back, I did watch another film. I won't say a big film, but it did get a sequel, Meg 2: The Trench, which also only earned close to 400 million. It didn't do much better compared to the first one, which I think was a better film. As even though it's exaggerated in terms of how they crafted the story, the second one was a bit much of a stretch here. So it goes to show the film, was it necessary to create a sequel here? Obviously with Jason Statham helming it, you expect a lot of action here, but the narrative of how they crafted the story here, but it's a bit too much in terms of stretching the make believe here. But it just goes to show, despite that, it's still one of the top 20 films of this year. So it does says of, in terms of, maybe it's inflation, but if you look at the performance here, as you can see here, it did miserably domestically. It didn't even reach 100 million mark, and for the international, it just barely reached 300 million. So it just goes to show, maybe they should stop making. They shouldn't do any more sequels after this, because unless you can come up with a compelling story of how to craft the continuation of the story here, I think the first one was should be the standalone film for all audiences here. Anyway, so any other films that was released? I think that's about it. That I yes, I think that's about it. Yeah, it's another film that I was able to watch with my kids. It's a family film, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's in the top 30, which obviously is a big flop. It only generated 153 million dollars worldwide, which is not good. And if you look at the numbers here, uh, domestically it did much better, which is pretty ironic. It reached a little over 100 million. As far as international box office, they even reached for $50 million here. Which, what's their budget here? They spent $70 million, so they might be able to break even. So obviously it's a very niche storyline here. They didn't even stick with the original storytelling. They tried to change the story here. Obviously it didn't work here. I mean, I enjoyed it a bit because, nostalgia of, a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans way back in the 90s, but it's not the same storyline and the same characters here. It's more of an updated version here. So you decide if you found enjoyment in watching this film. Anyway, I think that was the latest one that I was able to watch here. You can see here Shazam, Fury of the Gods is a lackluster film in the top 34 here. And there's still a lot more films that's going to be released later this year. Question is it going to do any better? I think Aquaman 2 is around the corner later this year, which I have, you know, I'm very apprehensive if it's going to do any well compared to, let's say, the Flash film. So we have to wait and see here. Anyway, that's about it uh for our box office review. Come back again on Monday for more Monday checklist. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.